6 months into the pandemic, and our grocery shopping habits apparently have changed in quite some ways. The spending is up 6%, but that's because we're all at home. And the number of trips to the market, to the shops, is down 11%. John Mackey is the CEO of Whole Foods and the author of Conscious Leadership. John joins me from Austin in Texas. It is good to have you, sir. Thank you. You believe that there is a new form of leadership, a new type of, I suppose it's grandiose to say capitalism, but you know what I mean, that's been born out of recent events. What's its defining characteristics?
Well, our book, New Book, Conscious Leadership, is calling for our leaders to become more conscious and to put purpose first, try to lead with love, have integrity in everything they do, find win-win-win solutions. And we have a whole menu of the way we think leaders need to be. I mean, we need conscious leaders who are trying to find higher ground for people to come together. America is being torn apart by different sets of values, and we're not looking for win-win-win solutions. We're just looking to win and have others lose. So we need really tens of thousands of new leaders to come out with a new way of leading that basically is more conscious.
But how did they get it so wrong? I mean, leaders get to the top because either they're good for shareholders. I'm old enough to remember the phrase, the stakeholder economy. When you say leading with love and not cutthroat competition, I sort of wonder, is that even possible in today's business environment?
The way we think about business today, the metaphors that we use are fundamentally only partially correct. We use war metaphors. We have Darwinian survival-of-the-fittest metaphors. We have sports metaphors with somebody winning and somebody else losing. And those metaphors don't serve us well any longer because they're all hyper-competitive. And while competition is part of business, to be sure, it's also about creating value for other people, value for customers, value for your employees, value for your suppliers, value for your investors. We need different metaphors. We need to think about business differently. And if we do, we can begin to lead with love.
I hear what you're saying, but you're now part of Amazon, which is arguably one of the most cutthroat businesses that has, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a faithful consumer of it. Certainly in quarantine, there've been Amazon boxes arriving at my door every day, but nobody would, but one could hardly say that your parent company has, quote, led with love in the way it's gone about going into new markets.
Well, I'm not going to be talking about Amazon today or really any other company. I'm prepared to talk about Whole Foods. We've been one of the 100 best companies to work for 20 consecutive years. And our company does lead with love. And so it's possible to do so. And we're in a very competitive industry, food retailing.
It is a fascinating industry that you are in. And I'm wondering, when you look at what do you see next as being the hallmark of a post-COVID grocery shopping? You know, here I am, as I say, I've been buying things online and having them deliver groceries because I'm in London in quarantine. What do you see the future direction of grocery shopping looking like?
In the long term, people are going to be able to get whatever kind of food they want, wherever they want it, whenever they want it, at a price that they're willing to pay. And so there'll be online options, delivery options, pickup options, in-store shopping options. The market's going to continue to evolve to meet the demands that people have. And it is evolving very rapidly right now, primarily due to COVID. I mean, Whole Foods' online sales have tripled in the last 12 months.
Right. Finally, the whole issue of, you know, here in the UK, well, Israel is going into another full national lockdown. There's some talk here that, you know, a greater lockdown. State by state in the US may have to consider more lockdown measures. If that happens, how do you respond?
How do we respond as a grocery company? I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Sorry.
Probably the similar way we responded when we had a lock. We had lockdowns in March and April. People have to get food, so our stores sales are way up. I mean, our prepared foods are down, but almost every other category is way up. So, I mean, like every business, Whole Foods responds to the marketplace as we find it. We respond to the external conditions we find ourselves in. You have to adapt to the marketplace as it changes and evolves. And so, I mean, we've had lockdowns, and if that happens again, then we'll probably respond the same way we did previously.
Mr. Mackey, I apologise for the interruption. It was going backwards and forwards. It's the delay between me here, Atlanta, and then to you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time, though, to speak to me this afternoon. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. John Mackey of Whole Foods.